You never know who you can trust nowadays. As men, we grow up being told to watch our backs. But what many forget is that the biggest threat doesn't always come from another man. Sometimes it's the woman sitting right next to you, the one who knows your habits and weaknesses. They don't come kicking down doors with guns drawn. Instead, they smile, flirt, and lure you into a trap. In today's video, we're looking at 3 cases from the city of Jacksonville where women played the role of bait, setting up men to be ambushed and ultimately killed. These stories reveal a darker side of loyalty, desperation, and betrayal, showing just how dangerous the wrong connection can be. But before we get into the video,
come on, bro. How you letting somebody look like her set you up, gang? We finna get into it, though. We ain't gonna judge.
The first story is about a woman named Killemzay Lopano who set up her ex-boyfriend, a man named Eddie Brown. Eddie was a hometown hero in Jacksonville. A gifted athlete, he played for Arlington Country Day School and helped lead them to a state basketball championship in 2005. People who knew him back then remembered a young man full of energy and promise. Sadly, his basketball career was cut short after he got into an accident and could no longer play at a high level. This left him having to find a new identity and path forward in life. As we all know, it's very difficult to make ends meet in this world, so Eddie ended up resorting to selling drugs, and that's where his ex-girlfriend Killemzay comes into the picture. Eddie had done a lot for her in life. He helped her with her hard drug problems and got her to stop prostituting herself on Backpage. She wasn't some stranger.
You telling me you cuffed a fucking prostitute? What do you expect? You expect not to get, come on, bro. You didn't think you was gonna get backdoored? She's a prostitute, bro. You can't save no prostitute, no thought, no what? Come on, bro.
Even though they eventually broke up, Killemzay still regularly bought weed from him. To Eddie, she was familiar and safe. To her accomplice, a man named Blair Terry, she was the key piece in a deadly setup. On November 7, 2016, Eddie rented a room at a small Westside motel on Ramona Boulevard near Lane Avenue, a part of Jacksonville well known for drug activity. That night, surveillance cameras captured the beginning of the betrayal. A white car pulled into the motel lot. Killemzay was driving. Blair Terry sat in the passenger seat. Killemzay got out, walked into Eddie's room, and convinced him to come outside. To Eddie, this was just a link up with someone he trusted, but outside, the trap was already set. The two walked to the car together, and moments later, Blair joined them. The 3 of them drove off. That grainy hotel footage would be the last time Eddie Brown was seen alive. Not long after, a passing driver spotted a man lying in the street. Eddie had been shot execution style, a bullet to the head. He was rushed to the hospital, but there was nothing doctors could do. Police quickly zeroed in on the suspects. Forensics tied Killemzay and Blair to the white car. Both were eventually arrested and charged with murder. Ultimately, Blair Terry was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Killemzay Lopano, facing the weight of her role, pled guilty to second-degree murder. For agreeing to a plea deal instead of taking it to trial, she was sentenced to just 13 years in prison. What's most sad about this is that Eddie was just 31 years old, engaged, and had a 3-year-old son.
That's fucked up. What's up with these hoes, man? Look at her, like, how do y'all, okay, look, y'all getting, how is this becoming y'all girlfriend? How is this one of y'all exes? How is this one of the hoes that's setting y'all up, gang? The pussy can't be that good. She can't be that. I'm just saying. It's just my opinion, twin. I'm just saying, bro.
The next story is about a woman named Shanna Gardner that set up her ex-husband, a man named Jared Bridgen. Jared and Shanna had once shared a life together. They married in 2010, built a home, and had twins, but their relationship quickly soured, leading to one of the most bitter divorces in Jacksonville's court system. By 2015, the marriage was over, but the hostility never died. They fought constantly over custody of their children, finances, and even simple exchanges. Court filings describe their post-divorce relationship as toxic and riddled with disputes. In the years after their split, both Jared and Shanna remarried. Jared married a woman named Kirsten in 2017 and welcomed 2 more children, creating a blended family that friends described as warm and loving. Shanna later married a man named Mario Fernandez Saldana. From the outside, both had moved on, but beneath the surface, resentment and conflict were still festering. Shanna didn't keep her hostility toward Jared a secret. In 2015, according to court testimony, she openly asked an acquaintance at a tattoo parlor if he knew anyone who could make Jared shut up. She also told friends that she wanted Jared gone. These weren't vague statements of anger. They were red flags pointing toward violent intent. By early 2022, the feud had only worsened. Jared remained heavily involved in his twins' lives, which meant constant contact and disputes with Shanna. Prosecutors later argued that Shanna and Mario saw Jared as an obstacle to custody, to financial freedom, and to their ability to move forward without him, and so a deadly plan was set into motion. On February 16, 2022, Jared drove his twins back to Shanna's home after a routine custody exchange. Riding with him was his 2-year-old daughter from his marriage with Kirsten. As he made the drive back to St. Augustine, he turned down Sanctuary Boulevard, a wooded road in Jacksonville Beach. There, a tire had been deliberately placed in the middle of the road. Jared stopped, put on his hazard lights, and stepped out of his car to move it. That's when gunfire erupted. He was shot multiple times, collapsing in front of his daughter.
No way they did it like that. There's no way. There's no way. If they did the murder, if they set him up like that, that's some gang. There's no way. So you telling me somebody had put a tire in the middle of the road or whatever it was at. He was driving. He seen it. He get out. He hop out the car. He get out to remove the tire so he can keep driving. He does that. Somebody just starts shooting or whatever they do. That's crazy. Do you know how much time and effort would you have to do that game? You gotta hope he go down that street. You gotta follow him somewhere. Come on, bro. There's no way. There's no way. White people is crazy, gang.
Who was strapped in her car seat. Jared died instantly. At first, the murder seemed like a shocking mystery. Who would stage such an ambush? The trail led investigators to Henry Tenyon, a 61-year-old man with a criminal history. His blue Ford F-150 pickup truck had been spotted near the crime scene, and when police searched his home, they found weapons and evidence that tie him directly to Jared's killings. Ballistics confirmed that shell casings from the scene matched his gun. But Henry wasn't acting alone. Phone records showed that he was in frequent contact with Shanna's new husband, Mario. Henry rented a property owned by Mario, and in the weeks leading up to the murder, the two exchanged more than 70 calls. Checks from Mario to Henry were later revealed as payment for the killing. Henry was eventually arrested and charged. Faced with the evidence, he pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and agreed to cooperate with prosecutors. His testimony painted the picture of a murder-for-hire plot. He told them that Mario and Shanna orchestrated the plan and he pulled the trigger. In August of 2023, both Shanna and Mario were indicted on charges of first-degree murder, conspiracy, and solicitation. Prosecutors announced they would seek the death penalty. Currently, Henry is attempting to recant his statement, and the trial has been delayed to late next year. Jared was just 33 years old and left behind 4 children.
All these hoes that just came up on this fucking screen is fucking ugly, gang. What is we doing here? What? The head gotta be fire. It just gotta be it gotta be good, gang. It is the head or the body, gang. It's one or the two. Is no other way, because it's not the face. For sure, it's not the face. So I don't know what you niggas are doing. What is y'all doing, gang? But I know about this one though. The
final story of the day is about a woman named Diamond Harris and ties into the infamous Jacksonville gang war. The most publicized gang war in Jacksonville revolves around the popular rapper Young and Ace and the recently deceased rapper Fulio. On Ace's side are the gangs ATK and NHG, standing for No Hospital Gang. On Fulio's side is the Hood 6 block and multiple other gang/hoods that derive from the 45th Street area of Jacksonville. Some younger gang members from Fulio's side of the beef created their own smaller set called Bully Gang. On May 17, 2023, a beloved member of Bully Gang named YBZ, real name Adrian McKenzie, was shot and killed at just the age of 16.
Damn.
Members of ATK and NHG took to social media afterwards and pretty much openly bragged about committing this murder. One ATK affiliate in particular, named Antonio Tilley Jr., was linked to this murder the most by rumors in the streets and some of his own words. 2 other people were shot during the incident that killed YBZ, and this led to a $20,000 bounty being placed on Tilley to be paid out to anyone that killed him. Diamond would be one of the 3 people that joined together to collect the bounty. Shortly after 11:45 p.m. on October 6, 2023, someone called 911 after hearing gunshots in the area of Keelan Drive off Moncrief Road. When officers responded to the scene, they found 2 men shot and killed inside a car. One of the people found dead in the car was Tilley. The other person dead in the car was the innocent Uber driver that was giving him a ride named Bryant Grund. Diamond and her boyfriend, a man named Jaquan Mills, would later get arrested for this murder. Police discovered that Diamond set Tilley up to be killed. She DM'd him on Instagram and lured him to a location under the guise of meeting to hook up. When Tilley arrived at the location, the boyfriend, Jaquan, shot up the car, killing both Tilley and Bryant.
Okay, so look, it's no way a girl just... You don't think this is set up? Cause there's no way they were just talking that day and automatically just linked up, gang. They had to been talking for some weeks or some months or something. She just had to. Cause again, if she just texted him out of nowhere and said, let's do something and this and that, and he went, come on, gang. You asked for it, bro. What is we... Then they did it on Instagram. Like the police can't backtrack that shit. What is we talking about here?
What began as an accessory charge quickly escalated. Diamond was eventually charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder. If convicted on all counts, she faces the possibility of life in prison.
Damn.
In mid-2024, the investigation widened further. Police arrested a 3rd suspect named Jimmy Robinson, whom they described as both a lookout and a getaway driver. Robinson was also accused of supplying one of the rifles used in the killings. Tilley lost his life at just 19 years old, and Bryant was just an innocent man trying to do his job. Man, stories like these make dating and relationships